Hi, I'm Stephanie London and welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to be talking about finding publishing opportunities. So this video is going to be really great if you're close to finishing manuscript or if you've got a manuscript and you're not quite sure what to do about submitting it, and you're looking for an opportunity, someone that's kind of looking for the type of manuscript that you've got. I'm going to talk about all of the places that you can go to try and find some interest and to get your manuscript in front of an editor. So I have done a video in the past about submitting a manuscript to a publisher. Now these two videos are going to be slightly different. So the other video talks more about if you're just going through slush, which is basically the standard submission process for a publisher. So you go to their website, they have a form where you attach your manuscript and whatever. That's what the other video is more about. This is more about trying to find a publisher that is looking for your specific type of manuscript and then getting a request or submitting to a special call out. So I'll explain what both of those things mean. Firstly, a request is when an editor has requested your manuscript specifically. That sounds pretty simple. So there's a lot of different ways that you can go about getting a request. It might be from a pitching event, it might be from something that's in person or online. Responding to a special call out is when a publisher says that they're looking for a specific type of manuscript. So it could be that they want transforming cowboy alien sci-fi romances or whatever the case might be, and they put a call out to say we're really looking for this type of manuscript because we have a gap in our catalog or we think it's going to sell really well. If you have anything like that, then you can submit to the special call out. So those are the two different types of things that you'll hear me talk about in this video. So in terms of getting a request from an editor, there are a couple of different ways that you can go about doing that. Pitch events are really popular. They tend to happen quite a lot from what I've seen, and that's a really good way to get your name sort of popping up with an editor and to get a request. So what happens is with an event, if you pitch your manuscript and the editor says, yes, I would like to see it, you generally will then submit your manuscript directly to that editor instead of going through the slush pile. So you've kind of jumped over the slush pile and have got your manuscript directly in front of an editor. That is great for a couple of reasons. One, it means that the editor is more likely to look at your manuscript in a quicker time frame than if you had gone through slush. And that the editor is likely to be interested in that type of book because they've requested it, rather than going through slush, which can be very hit or miss. In a lot of cases too, if you get a request, you might get personalized feedback from the editor, even if they reject the manuscript. And for anyone that's going through the submission process, that feedback is gold. It's absolutely invaluable. So it's great from a couple of different reasons to get a request. So how do you go about finding a pitch events? If you're attending a romance writing conference, often there will be some kind of pitching event at the conference. That can be face-to-face. I'll be honest, it's kind of terrifying to do that, but it is a really good experience. And I know a lot of people who have gone to one of those events and then now have their book published. So that's where you sit down with the editor, you have a couple of minutes to tell them about your book, and at the end they will either say, yes, we'd like to see the whole thing, or we'd like to see a partial, which is usually like 3 chapters, or thanks but no thanks. So that's a really great way to get a pitching event. Sometimes they hold them at writers groups as well. I know that the Romance Writers of America chapter, the Toronto chapter that I'm part of, sometimes they have pitching events through that group. So there's a lot of different places that you can go to find those in-person type of pitching events. What I'm seeing a lot more of now is online pitching because it doesn't require you to be in the same place as an editor. There are big pitching events that happen through Twitter. So if you know the hashtag to look for, you can find out when these events are happening. One of them is hashtag #PitMad. So that is a really big pitching event where in 140 characters or less, you get to pitch your story. And that is really tough to do. So definitely a good way to build your pitching skills is by participating in some of these online Twitter pitches. And then what happens is agents and editors will scroll through the pitches in the genre that they're interested in. And if they favorite the tweet, then you can submit your manuscript directly to that agent or editor. Entering writing competitions is another really great way to get a request. So often if you enter a writing competition that's run through, say, the Romance Writers of America or the Romance Writers of Australia, or RNA, I think, which is the English one, there's RWNZ as well, a whole bunch of these writing organizations will run contests where the people who are judging the final round could be agents and or editors, depending on your genre and what you're submitting. And then I know a lot of people that have gotten requests through that, so they've made it to the final round of the competition and the person that's judging has been really interested and has requested the manuscript. Something to look for is editors and agents Facebook and Twitter accounts. So you can follow a lot of editors and agents on these social media platforms, and oftentimes they'll talk about the things that they're looking for. They might use one of the hashtags on Twitter, which is MSWL, which stands for manuscript wish list, where you can kind of scroll through and see what things people are looking for. So if you find that there's an editor at one of the publishing houses that you're interested in and they're looking for a sci-fi romance with cowboys or whatever it is, and you've got one of those, you can, you know, when you submit your manuscript, actually direct it to that editor and say, you know, I saw you were looking for this as part of the manuscript wish list, and you can kind of try and go about it that way, saying that you're giving them something specific that they're looking for, which will hopefully help your manuscript stand out as part of the slush pile. I think it's really important to follow the agents and editors on Twitter as well, just because they tend to talk about, particularly the agents will talk about the things that people do wrong, and it's really important not to be one of those people. So there are a lot of hashtags that people use. I think 10 queries, hashtag 10 queries might be one of them, where agents will go through their inbox and pick 10 queries and say why they either rejected or requested the manuscript as part of that query. These are really great ways to learn about the industry and what's going on, and also to find publishing opportunities, because people will be talking about what it is that they're looking for, what trends they're seeing. You just have to remember with social media accounts to follow the etiquette, and I think I might even do a separate video on that. Don't try and pitch your manuscript directly to an editor if it's not part of a pre-organized pitching event. It's just not a great way to go, but definitely follow them on social media and keep tabs of what they're buying and what they're looking for. On publishers' websites, there are a lot of resources for people who are looking to submit a manuscript. It varies from publisher to publisher, but I know that Harlequin, who is one of my publishers, they have a whole section which has all the guidelines for the different lines that they publish, and they also have a forum as well. Now, a lot of people that I know that are published with Harlequin have come to submit their manuscript through special call-outs and fast-track competitions, which is basically where they're looking for something specific and you can submit a manuscript and get a response very quickly, which doesn't usually happen when you go through Slush. Those types of events are often advertised and sometimes even run through the publisher's website. So that's a really great place to start looking for opportunities. If there's a call out, if they're looking for particular types of manuscripts, sometimes they'll advertise that on the blog associated with the publishing website. I know that Entangled Publishing does that quite a bit. If they want something for a specific line, they'll put a call out on the blog. So these are all great resources for you as an aspiring author to look at what people are actually looking for as far as manuscripts are concerned, and to try and find a way for you to get your manuscript in without going through the regular slush pile. There are some specific writing competitions that have a prize, which is getting your book published. So a big one that comes to mind is Harlequin's So You Think You Can Write competition. They do it every year. I think it's in either October or November is when all the final kind of stuff happens. But the I think the prize from winning that competition is a 2-book publishing deal with Harlequin, which is absolutely phenomenal. But they publish a lot of people through that competition that don't win. So people that final, they really like the manuscript and they might request the manuscript. I know a lot of people that have been published through that competition. So they might have submitted their manuscript and they might make it to say top 50 or top 20 or whatever it is, and they don't go beyond that, but the editors will continue to work with that author behind the scenes to get the manuscript up to scratch, to go through the revision process, and then eventually for them to get published as well. So always keep a lookout for any competitions which might give you a foot in the door or give you an opportunity to work with an editor and kind of get your manuscript out of that slush pile and onto the editor's desk. So I really hope that you found this video helpful. If you have any questions at all about finding these publishing opportunities, definitely leave me questions in the comments below. I'll try to put a couple of links and some of the hashtags and things that I've mentioned in the video in the down bar as well, just in case you didn't catch those as you were watching the video. And good luck with submitting your manuscripts. Let me know how you go. I love hearing from people who are going through that process. And definitely, as I said, leave any questions below. Have a great day and thanks so much for watching. I'll see you guys next time. Bye.